Welcome to the Bruins Benders Podcast, Season 4, Episode 17 with Maddie and Smitty, brought to you on the Inside the Rink Podcast Network at InsideTheRink.com. In this episode, we will discuss Charlie McAvoy being out a few games. The defense played admirably. Can it continue? Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak, the feud. Any final thoughts on that? And Jeremy Swayman may be back to normal. He's had the heaviest workload in the league since Christmas. You can hit subscribe on Inside the Rink's YouTube channel and follow us on social media at Bruins Benders, and use this QR code on your screen to purchase event tickets through Ticketmaster. Get your Bruins game tickets right there and help support the show. Follow us each on X at Benders Smitty, at Mr. Matty Barry. And here we are again, the Bruins Stanley Cup parade back on.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Let's be positive.
Fire it up.
Let's be positive. 2 big wins against division rivals. Still with a lower points percentage. So probably at the end of this little stretch here, they're probably still going to be in 5th or 6th place. But let's fire up the parade. Let's get the checkbooks ready.
That shout out to Bricktop, who said that typically we're very negative.
Yeah,
he liked us as a positive duo last night in the after the game.
Okay,
so that's a shout out to Bricktop. We are positive right now.
Yeah,
duck boats ready to roll.
This whole episode is going to be all about positivity.
Positivity.
I can feel it in my bones.
Over the top positivity.
Yeah.
Right after we do this rapid review in January 9th when they got blown out 4-1 at Tampa Bay. Right after that. Yeah. Other than that,
it's like super positive. Yeah, that was not a good game, but some positives in that game were I don't think anybody got maimed. I mean, Kastelik got
not maimed.
Kastelik got cross-checked in the face.
Yeah, almost maimed.
Almost maimed, but not completely maimed. No. So that was a positive.
That's a positive.
And
there was a goal scored by somebody.
There was a goal scored, and he was back skating today. Kastelik.
He was,
as was Hampus Lindholm.
He's back in a red non-contact today.
Yep.
Actually, at practice today.
Yeah, at practice, and McAvoy skated before practice. So some of their walking wounded seem to be, getting a little healthier, getting a little closer. That's a positive.
Sure is.
But hell, let's find out who scored the other day. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah, the Lightning. I want to say, was it Geeky? I want to say it was Geeks.
Was it Geeks?
It might have been Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks.
I'm looking at it right now.
It might have been the.
It was Mace. It was Mace Lowry on that sweet toe drag. So there's a positive.
Yeah,
you're young, up and coming defenseman. A little toe drag snipe. Pretty nice goal, as a matter of fact. Really nice goal, and that's what he can do. That's what Mason can do when he is playing his game. He still has some work to do on the defense. I thought in the Florida game and in the Tampa game, he was better in both of those areas. I thought he played more physically in both of those games than he has mostly all year long. I thought that was as physical as he's been all year. And he used his skating, and he's playing pretty well right now. So if we get more of that out of him, then that's a good sign for the Bruins going forward.
No, I mean they could potentially scratch him, but they can't send him down, because you send him through waivers, someone's going to get him.
Oh yeah,
so it's going to be a Jakob Sporl situation where he plays 20 games all year long and just sits in the 9th floor. You're not going to do that either, so you're kind of stuck with playing him.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could sit him a game here or there, but for the most part, he has to play and he has to figure it out. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because look, what are the other options? 1 and 2, I'd rather him playing and just working through those types of things and continuing to get experience, rather than have him sit.
Yeah, and another thing about that is we've been blasting the team for not wanting to play the forwards. The young kids that are forwards that are going to come up and they're going to make mistakes. We've been blasting the team for not playing those guys, saying your forwards right now are making mistakes, so why not just bring the kids up and let them play And sure, there'll be growing pains, just like there is right now with Lowry. I mean, he's only played 70-something games at the NHL level, so there's going to be growing pains. That's part of it. And I still don't think he's going to be a great defenseman in his own zone. The offense, I think, will come as he gains more confidence and learns the league and stuff like that. But the defense, if we can get that up to average, he's going to be a really good player for the Bruins.
Yeah. Poor man's Dougie Hamilton is really kind of what you're going for. And that's fine.
Sure it is.
That's fine. Minus the quirky personality. That's fine. Yeah. All right. And then January 11th at Florida. Now, this was a game where the Bruins had no business really winning when you consider the amount of shot attempts by Florida. But it was really good to get the win and kind of get that monkey off their back when it comes to the Panthers. A 4-3 overtime win. David Pastrnak with the sort of fluky goal to win it. It's about time they catch a break against the Panthers and they get the win. But again, I mean, there were a ton of shot attempts from Florida. Florida carried play a lot of the game. Bruins hung in, and this is the type of game we've talked about before in past years that they win. Is that there were times even when they were really good that they'd get severely outplayed and find a way to win. They found a way to win on that day.
They did, and I would say in large part due to Jeremy Swayman. I think he stole that game for them. It was probably the first game or the second game all year that he's stolen that they really just didn't have any business winning. He made 40 saves on 43 shots for a .930 save percentage. And he was really good in that game. Really good. And he did enough in the big moments when they needed him to. And they were able to find a win there. And even though they were wildly outshot and outplayed, they catch a bad break there with the puck bouncing up in the air and over Swayman with 2 seconds left. And I think we'll talk at some point tonight about goals in the final
period. Yeah.
Which has been a problem for this team going back a ways. But the positive is that they find a way to win in overtime on a similar kind of a fluky bounce, which, like you said, they have probably deserved that after some of the rotten luck that they've had this season and against Florida in general.
January 14th versus Tampa Bay, 43 more saves for Jeremy Swayman in a 6-2 win where Boston comes out, takes a 2-0 lead. 4-0 lead, I'm sorry.
Well, 2-0 in the first and then 2 more in the second to go up 4,
Yeah, so 4-0, and then Tampa Bay tries to make a little bit of a comeback, but Swayman, shuts the door and starts to show why he's maybe worth the 8.25, as we've been kind of screaming since he signed it. But he's been really good the last 3 or 4 weeks. Now he's really coming in his own. And as we'll talk about in a bit about Swayman, the heaviest workload, in the league really is the amount of shots since, or the heaviest workload and how much he's played with it since Christmas, but also has faced the second most shots in the league as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a great sign. I mean, the workload is a good sign, and the fact that he's playing well is a good sign. And look, he was a heavy workload guy in college. I mean, not to this extent. They only play, 35, 40 games in college, but he played a lot. He saw a lot of pucks at the University of Maine. So he's used to the heavy workload, and maybe that helps him get into a rhythm. And if that's the case, and he's found his game now because he's seeing a lot of shots and a lot of attempts and a lot of rubber and has to be focused because, the shots are coming from every which way all the time. That's good. That's a good thing in the long run for this team. Now, will that burn him out by April or, come playoff time? Hopefully not. I'd like to see Korpisalo get in here, at least once or twice during this stretch, and maybe he will against one of these lesser teams, whether it's San Jose or possibly Buffalo. But he's you can't play the guy every game from here on out, so you got to have at some point Korpisalo to come in to give the guy a mental break, I think.
You do, and my concern has been if he plays 65 games or whatever, 60 games, how is that going to affect him come playoff time if they do make the playoffs? He hasn't really had that kind of workload throughout a season and then gone into the postseason. So that's another sort of, I don't know if it's a concern, but it's a question mark. I mean, can he do that? So that's another thing as it gets. But look, it's going to come a time when they're going to have to get as many points as they can, and they're going to have to play their guy as much as humanly possible just to get there. So
yeah, that's
there's really nothing you can do about that to this point.
Hey, here's another thing quickly on that though. I wonder if they're going to use the Four Nations 2-week break as kind of a reset for Swayman. I know he's going to Four Nations, but it's unlikely he's going to start. It's going to be Hellebuck, I would assume. Most games. I mean, maybe there'll be a rotation early in the rounds, but I think as it goes along, it's going to be Hellebuck. So, I know he'll be there and there'll be practice and whatnot, I guess, but I feel like, that should be some downtime as he's not seeing as much game action in those couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the other guy is Charlie McAvoy. I mean, if he has this nagging injury, if it's the thumb or hand or wrist or whatever it is, and it's not completely healed, then why the hell are you going to the Four Nations tournament, which means like a whole bunch of nothing. So that's gonna irritate the hell out of me. Yeah, if he's kind of dinged up and needs all the rest he can, and then goes and plays in the Four Nations tournament, and then mid-March he's like, "Well, I got to take a couple games now." Right. That's not great.
No, it isn't. I mean, I really think he should ask out of that thing. I don't think he, with the season he's had, really belongs in it anyway. I said before, I think it should be John Carlson, and and it should be. So he should just ask out and get the rest and take a little mini vacation there and reset and come back ready to go. Hopefully healed up. So let Carlson do that thing. I mean, there'll be other opportunities for him to play for his country. He's still a young guy.
Yeah, in a much more important tournament. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right, 7 Chirps is sponsored by Lops Brewing. It's a brewing and tasting room in downtown Woonsocket, Rhode Island, specializing in small batch ales and lagers. Use the code SPORTS for 10% off your online order at lopsbrewing.com, and also follow them at Lops Brewing for new beers and events. And Chirp 1, Charlie McAvoy out for a few games with that injury. Defense played admirably in his absence, although giving up a lot of shot attempts. But can that continue?
No and no. No, you can't continue to play good defense without him. I mean, look, you would rather have Charlie McAvoy in the lineup than Michael Callahan.
Yeah.
Or, Charlie McAvoy in the lineup rather than Jordan Osterley and Parker Waterspoon, even though Waterspoon had a great game. And I think Osterley's played, pretty admirably in the time that he's been in there. But yeah, I mean, that's one of your horses. That's one of the guys who takes up a lot of minutes, plays a lot of minutes. I mean, you would rather have those two guys, including Hampus Lindholm, back than, some of the guys I just mentioned. So not only McAvoy, but getting Lindholm back, I think will be a boost to the back end, to the defense.
Yeah, and McAvoy plays, as you said, heavy minutes, and so does Lindholm. Lindholm played, 21 minutes on average, and McAvoy's probably off the top of my head, it's probably 24 minutes a night.
Sure.
In a defense that's really challenged offensively, he at least provides some, offensive, I guess, threat, even though it's not ideal and it's not, what we'd like from him. But without him or without Lindholm, boy, offensively, very challenged group in the back end. And we'll talk about that in a couple of chirps here about the defense and how they've been chipping in offensively.
Yeah, McAvoy averages 23:41 time on ice.
So there you go. I mean, that's two guys well over 20 minutes a game. And that puts a lot of pressure on the guys coming in, and also guys like Mason Lowry, and Andrew Peak and guys who have to play more minutes and bump up the line, So, I mean, Peak was a top pair guy.
When you slot McAvoy back in, everybody else kind of can fit into the roles where they, are better suited.
Yeah, without a doubt. Trip 2, Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak in their feud, which they have vehemently denied.
World.
Yeah. 50-50 on that one. But any final thoughts on it? And I'll tell you what I think right now. I think there was something there.
Yeah.
Because of the way Marchand responded and the Bruins responded. And it became this shitstorm against Rich Keefe, which you would never think that they would spend that much time on it. All you really have to say is, I'm not sure where that report comes from. We've been together a long time. We've played together a long time.
Yeah.
We're like family, yada, yada. Throw in a, he was at my wedding. I was at his wedding, whatever the hell you want to say, and then be done with it. But it was constant, and it was the whole, Keefe bashing. Like typically when someone says something that's truthful, you try to discredit them. You try to over the top discredit them, and that's what it looked like to me with it.
Yeah, it was an aggressive defense. I'll call it that. It was an aggressive defense of that. And I'll say what I said before. They, I'm sure, have had disagreements. Yes. If you play in a team and you play on the same line, you're going to have disagreements because there's going to be times where somebody shoots or somebody passes or somebody thinks they were open and wanted the puck, of course, and didn't get it. So there's going to be times like that. He could have used your defense. We are family. Families fight. They bicker. They quarrel. Yeah. It doesn't mean we don't love each other. We still love each other. And he could have come out and said that. Look, in families, there's going to be disagreements. Right. We still love each other. We're still brothers. We're still pulling the same way. We still all are, fighting for the Boston Bruins. He could have said any of that. I mean, it was over the top defense, in my opinion, of that. And and then you get other people in the media taking shots at Keefe too, which is, that to me
that's bullshit.
It really is. Like
it is.
It's one thing. It's one thing if the team's doing it because they're the ones that are technically under attack. But for other media people to come out and take shots at the guy, like, you haven't reported anything ever, nothing, ever. And, and he comes out with things, putting himself out there. And, if he got it wrong, he got it wrong. But, for other media people to be taking shots at him, I think is ridiculous.
Especially some of them who are barely in the business anymore.
Well, that's what
their own bullshit. That's that. There you go. So
I'm not going to name names, but that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you what. Here's the other thing about it is that with a guy like Keefe, who was right, like the last 2 or 3 times he reported things on the Bruins, who was right. He obviously has a decent source that he stands behind, and he still stands behind it. That there was something there. Sure. So that's so fine. But to just, to have other writers say, well, there's no way that happened. Well, how do you know that? How do you know? You don't even know. You have no idea who the source was, where it came from, or what type of validity there was. But you're so adamant that it's completely that he completely made it up is just ridiculous. Like just shut up. Shut up.
Producer Connor wants to chime in.
Okay.
One other caveat here. Yeah. You can't come to Marchand's defense as a media member and slam another media member when your fucking cover photo on social media is you and a player that you allegedly cover, you fucking homer piece of shit.
Right. So, well, there's the other thing right there. There's the other thing. Here's the thing. And in some cases, there might be some sort of relationship between media and player, but I'm telling you, Brad Marchand is not your buddy.
No.
So cut the crap with this, I'm getting behind Brad Marchand. We're going to put our picture, me and him up there. Like, he doesn't give one rat's ass about you.
No.
Okay. So stop it. Like this brown nosing thing with some of the media members in the Bruins, like they don't care about you, dude. They don't. So stop it.
Yeah, you're not best friends. So to try to act like you're coming to your friend's defense, like that's not it. Like, I mean, sure, they will be professional to you. They're hockey players. They're nice to everyone for the most part. There's very rarely a hockey player who's an absolute, dickhead outside of, that's just not the way they are most of the time. And so they're going to be cordial. They're going to be nice. They're going to make fun. They're going to have laughs. Like, that's the way it is. And for you or anyone else to mistake that all of a sudden that makes you best friends is a little bit over the top.
Yeah. It makes you look like a fool, to be quite honest with you. He'll never be friends with us, and we're not going to try to make friends with him.
No. I mean, I would love to be friends with Brad.
Yeah, that's great, but he doesn't give a rat's fuck.
We can be friends.
What we're doing.
But on this,
I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this. Brad Marchand would like our pod.
I think he would. He would give us a ton of shit, and we would deserve it. Yeah. And we would deserve it. But we're gonna, like I was just about to say, we're gonna keep it real here. So you know,
he'd like that.
I would like to be friends with him. I would like to be friends with all the Bruins players, even some guys that I've said that don't play particularly well or that I want to trade. I would still want to.
I'll have dinner with Freddie on his way out. Like I'll stop at Massimino's on the way to the airport. Fuck it. Yeah,
we'll take it. We'll take it over the IHOP. We'll get some late night. We'll get some late night breakfast.
A little 2 a.m. over in the Watertown, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Brighton,
Brighton line.
Austin.
Yeah, let's get shot by the bowling alley. That'll be a grand old time.
Right. Yeah. Chirp 3. Bruins defensemen are adding more offense lately. You mentioned low-rise goal, and then Parker Wotherspoon and Andrew Peeke both get their first goal as Bruins. With McAvoy and Lindholm injuries, should the Bruins seek another defenseman in trade?
I mean, they'll go for a depth defenseman 100%.
They will.
And in my opinion, it will be a right shot depth defenseman because they don't have one right now.
I think that's a good move.
They have a bunch of guys who are lefty that can fill in over there, you know, with your Osterlees and your Wotherspoons and your, you know, then you have Lowry, you have Zadorov, you have Lindholm. So you got 5 guys over there, but you don't have a lot on the right side. You know, if McAvoy, Carlo, or Peeke go down, you know, for any extended period of time, you're in trouble. You're playing a guy, you know, on his offside, which I don't love. Especially if, you know, defense is your forte and your focus. You don't want a guy, you know, on the wrong side having to take pucks on his backhand and do shit like that. So I think a depth defenseman on the right side is what the move will be. You know, and that's fine. They could use it. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. But, you know, at the same time, I really feel like they should be kind of adding and subtracting at the same time, if that makes sense, while they're trying to make it into the playoffs here, because they're going to be right on the fringe. They're going to be right up close to it, and they need to, you know, maximize their opportunity to get into the playoffs, but also their opportunity to get rid of some guys who aren't going to be a part of their future.
Yeah, and
get some assets back in return. So hopefully you can build a better team going forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a guy. I'm gonna give you a guy that he's played one game with the Utah Hockey Club this year. I'm gonna give you John Marino.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay? I'm gonna give you that guy. He's from Northeastern Mass, right by you.
Yeah,
and he is 27 years old, a right shot. So in the Utah Hockey Club, I heard today is really in the market for kind of selling and getting active in the trade market. So John Marino, Robert Bertuzzo is also on that roster. Both right shots, both decent sized guys. Maybe that's a fit.
I wouldn't be opposed to either one of those guys.
Yeah.
Bertuzzo brings a little bit of snarl as well.
Yeah, and he's 6'4". He's 210, whatever he is. He's big.
Yeah, I mean that would fit right into the let's get big as we possibly
big. Yeah, let's get big.
Let's get physical.
Yeah, Olivia Newton-John on the Bruins Benders Podcast.
Love
it. Godspeed. Chirp number 4. Bruins win 2, but is it fool's gold with all the shot attempts they're allowing?
To a degree. Yeah, because that's not sustainable. You can't be outshot, 85-40 and expect to win games. It's not happening. No. Especially against good teams, especially as you get deeper into the, closer to the playoffs and into the playoffs. If you make it, you can't. That's not sustainable. Even with Swayman playing as well as he is right now, you can't expect success. That many attempts, there's bound to be one that go off someone's ass, hits a stick in front and goes in. Like there's there's too many things that can go wrong when you're giving up that many attempts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a night. There could be a night when 8 of them go in because your goalie's had an off night and you get blown out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's not ideal. So yes, there. But here are the good things because we're positive. Bricktop.
Yep.
Jeremy Swayman is back. Seems to be back in the groove.
Yep.
Ready to go. So that's good. And I think these defensemen here getting some time and playing fairly well helps you out later on. Mm-hmm. So McAvoy and Lindholm come in there, and you have some added depth defensively. If Michael Callahan shows he can do it, then maybe you don't need to go get a guy or whatever. I don't know. Or Osterley and these guys, if they're playing okay, then maybe you're okay there. And then, the offense, it's been a little more opportunistic, but, with Matt Poitras back in the mix, now, see, my thing with Matt Poitras is my thing with the scoring, because I don't think they're going to make some blockbuster. I don't think they're getting some big-time offensive player. So my bar is if he's not better than Poitras, it's not worth it. So if you can get a guy better than Poitras, then okay, then get that guy to add. But if he's not better than Poitras, then there's no need to.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%.
There's the bar, because he's right now the extra forward when everybody's healthy. So if
here's
not better than Poitras,
I might go to another level. I might say if he's better than John Beecher, you can add.
You can add there because there'll be a bottom six ad. There'll be a bottom six ad. I mean, they have Kastelik's been dinged up, and now Koepke is dinged up.
Yeah,
and Beecher has not been that effective, so there'll probably be a bottom six ad.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean,
especially if Frederic goes.
Yeah, I mean, look, they love their depth forwards.
They do.
So that's what you're going to see. I mean, that's what you usually see from the Bruins at the deadline. A depth
I should
forward.
I should go back to the deadlines and see, because I just feel like it's a bottom six in a depth defenseman like every year.
Yeah, that's
every
what I'm
single
saying
year.
That's what they do. That's the MO at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
What bottom six forward can we get? What depth?
Mike Mottos and all these guys that come in.
I mean, they've had a few years where they've went for it. Your Tyler Bertuzzis and your Dmitry Orlovs.
Mm-hmm.
They went for it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Nash. They've done a few times, but most of the time it's your Rich Peverleys.
Yeah,
it's your like you said, the Mike Mottos and your.
Well, I remember that year in 11 when they, obviously in 10 they could have won the cup if Krejci doesn't get hurt. Now in 11, they the expectation is that they could win the cup. And I remember that deadline when they got Peverley and Kelly and whoever the hell it was.
Promise Cavalli?
And it might have been Cavalli too that year. Yeah, right. And I remember that at that deadline, people were like, "Are you kidding me? Like that's all they got was those three guys, and those, two of those guys played a pivotal role."
Absolutely.
That was really kind of a masterclass on what you needed and what you got to help you win the cup. It really was. I mean, it was a really savvy, and Caberlet wasn't what they thought he was, but the other two guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it Caberlet in 11? No, Caberlet was 13.
Yeah.
It was 13.
No, Caberlet was the same year.
He was in 2011?
Yes.
Okay.
And he didn't play all the games.
He didn't play all the games. That's right. But the other two were big time.
Yeah, they thought he was going to help the power play because the power play was terrible, and the power play in the playoffs was worse than it was in the
worse. Right.
Because he was the big addition that year. And the other two were the depth adds that ended up being the bigger additions.
Right.
I want to say, though, he ended up with like 11 assists or something, like some outrageous assist number.
Yeah, probably.
When he came
secondary
over.
Assists.
Yeah. All right. Chirp 5. Jeremy Swayman back to normal for good. He's the heaviest workload in the league since Christmas. You think he's sort of back on track?
I think he's back on track, but I'm worried about burnout. I am. I said a little bit earlier that, I need to see Korpisalo getting some more games. Like if this kind of stretch where he's playing, 9 out of 10 instead of, 4 out of 5. I don't love that. And the fact that he's seeing, 40 shots a game now, and, in the 80s or hundreds in attempts, like, I don't love that. No. I think he's going to be burned out if that's the case. So, yeah, he's playing better for sure. Mm-hmm. And he stole that game against Florida and was excellent against Tampa, the next time out. But yeah, the workload is going to worry me a little bit, and hopefully, the Bruins can alleviate that a little bit.
For sure. Chirp number 6. 19 times this season, the Bruins have given up a goal in the final 3 minutes of a period. As always, these are all non-empty net goals. All non-empty net goals.
That is,
so you see them here.
Amazing.
It is unbelievable. A minute 26, 26 seconds, a minute 17. Look at all of them under 2 minutes. Look at all of them under a minute, under 10 seconds. There's a bunch.
8 seconds left, 1 second left, 11 seconds left, 8 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
3 seconds. I mean, jeez, 18 seconds. Jesus.
I mean, there's a lot there. That's not less than 3 minutes. That's less than like a minute and a half.
Yeah. I feel like they should be rethinking who they put out, like in the end of period situations.
Yes.
I really feel like that's a coaching thing that they need to shore up. They need to work on. They need to tweak that. They need to put out guys in the final minute or the final 30 seconds and play it like it's you're on the pot, you're shorthanded or something. Like put out your penalty killing unit kind of a thing or something to really defend more strongly than they have in those situations, because you can't have that. You just can't.
No. 19 is
continue to happen, because that gives it, not only does it hurt you and deflate you, but other teams now looking at this, like just looking at it from afar. If you're another team and you throw that list up on their pre-scout and say, "Oh, well, if it's late in a period, late in a game, we have these guys.
Yeah, we have them.
We just put pressure on them. We can score. Look at all the people that have done it already." Mm-hmm. And that's just, it gives the other teams confidence now that can happen. And so the Bruins really that's something they really got to figure out. They got to right that situation quick.
Yeah, they do. I mean, in the playoffs, that just ramps up even more. You start giving up those pressurized goals at the end of periods. Like, that can change the momentum of a game. That can lose a game.
Lose a series.
Lose a series with that.
Yeah, sure.
Shift the momentum in a series.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those things. So that is not good. And then chirp number 7, Matt Pastrnak called up. Was it the right time, and do you see him staying there?
I'm probably with you. I would have liked to have seen him get some more time. My ideal scenario would have been to call him up after the Four Nations. You leave him down there all through now this time of year up to the trade up to through Four Nations, and then bring him up after that and let him play the rest of the season. Look, they need him. There's been no secret about that. They lack somebody with creativity and passing ability and vision, which he has. So he assisted on the Frederic goal in one of his first shifts, I think. And it was great patience on his part. The defenseman goes down to slide to kind of block the pass across. And he holds it, makes a little move, and then slides a perfect pass right across on the tape. And then Frederic bangs in. And, I think they certainly could use him, and he certainly earned his spot here before. So it's not like, they just gave it to him. But I think he needed to go down there. He needed to gain that confidence. And I don't think that would have happened if he was up here. So, I think it was a positive for him to go down. Is it the right time? I would have liked to have seen it be a little longer, but they need him and they need some scoring. So I guess now is as good a time as any.
Yeah, Poitras even said himself that it was helpful to him. So if that's, I'm going to go by his word over these other people who think that it wasn't right.
Yeah,
like I'm going to go with Poitras's word. And he just looked, right out of the gate, he just looked 100% better. And I think he would have hit that wall if he didn't get that extra time. He gained a bunch of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks stronger. He just looks like a more mature hockey player already.
Yeah.
From it. So I think it was a great move. I really do. All right. Here's something we like to call DraftKings in the Raw. DraftKings Sportsbook is Boston's hometown sportsbook. It's live right here in Massachusetts. Bet local and all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, all new customers will receive up to $250 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code ITR. You can now bet local on money line spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with the code ITR to get up to $250 in bonus bets to use now that mobile sports betting is live in Massachusetts. That's code ITR, and it's only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
If your loved one is experiencing problems with gambling, call 800-327-5050 or visit helplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist free and confidentially 24/7. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in Mass. Eligibility restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA.
Did you bite your tongue on that one? It sounded like you chomped on your tongue.
I might have bit the inside of my cheek.
Oh my god, 50 Flipsy. Oh my god. Smitty and I will be doing a 6-week workshop on ad reads.
Yeah,
coming up if you'd like to join us.
Yeah. You can sign up on our YouTube page to subscribe over there and write in the comments that you'd like to join our workshop.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to work with you.
Yeah. Happy.
Happy to work with you.
$4,000. All right. Do we have a start bench cut, producer Connor?
Oh, we don't have one. We have two.
Yes.
But it's a good thing that it's start bench cut since you guys have a little trouble with the 50-50 odds there. So to start off with number one, start bench cut. We're going to stay in the hockey section first. Of Boston Bruins current players, David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy, and Brad Marchand. Who would you start? Who would you bench? And who would you cut from the team?
Oh, wow. Wow.
That is really, really difficult.
That's a hard one. Well, I'm gonna go at this point in their careers. At this point.
Oh, you're doing that too? See, I think I was doing that too.
Yeah, I'm going start Pasta, and I'm going bench McAvoy, and I'm going cut Marchand.
We think too much alike. Because I was going to say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
At this point in their careers, I think I cut Marchand just because he's the oldest.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
So he's definitely not going to like us.
No. Now he's going to hate our guts. Yeah. He's coming after us.
Maybe that's just a little foreshadowing. You never
he's going to go. He's going to send us back to the closet where we're recording from.
Yeah, that's right. Us and Keith.
Yeah. So I would have probably started Pasta, benched Marchand, and cut McAvoy just based on their play this season, though.
Yeah, I think it's true too. I'm gonna go, even though Pastrnak has had his struggles. He's still gonna score 40 goals probably in a down year.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't, like you said before, like they don't grow on trees.
No, they don't.
They don't. So Pastrnak with the start.
Are you ready for number two?
Ready for number two.
All right, here comes the cholesterol. Start, bench, cut. And we're going with breakfast meats. Sausage, bacon, or ham.
Oh, you dirty son of a bitch, you. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna say
I can eat the fuck out of all those things.
Oh my god, right now. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go start ham, bench bacon, cut sausage.
What in the absolute fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'm starting ham.
Trigger warning.
I'm going to tell you right now, ham is an underrated breakfast meat. It really is. Ham, a good like grilled ham. You throw a piece. I used to throw a couple pieces of ham in there, in the pan and fry them up with my scrambled eggs, whatever. Delicious.
Oh, sure. That's an omelet, buddy. But you can
a little ham steak.
You can keep your goddamn ham.
Okay.
I'm going start bacon, but it has to be crispy bacon. None of this floppy fucking bullshit bacon. I don't want the bacon that's I don't want the bacon that's flopping around. Start bacon, bench breakfast sausage, and cut ham. Easily cut ham.
You cut
easily.
Ham? I'll tell you this: it'll change. I'd give sausage a little bit more if it was I like the patties over the links.
Okay.
I'm
fine with either one, but here's what I'll do. I'll go to Denny's, I'll get the Grand Slam, and I'll get both those son of bitches at the same time.
Yeah,
that's
what
I'll do.
Yeah, you will.
I'll get eggs, I'll get fucking pancakes, I'll get the sausage and the bacon and the orange juice and the coffee and the hash browns. I'll do it all.
Oh my God, I'd do that right now. I do that right now.
Give me a Grand Slam from Denny's. And let's get the fuck out of here.
We should probably do a review of Denny's Grand Slam.
We should.
We should. It's Denny's Grand. We go to all the.
We should do diner reviews.
Oh, diner reviews. There you go. I love diners
and review diners.
That would be awesome. We should.
Whenever you guys get together for post game lives, you should bring your little tiny setup for equipment and go to a diner at a table and sit there and have dinner at the diner after the Bruins game and do your live.
You do a live, right at the diner.
That sounds amazing.
But you have to bring your custom Bruins Benders mugs. That's
we'll bring the mugs. Sure. Yeah. We'll have we'll have Inside the Rink buy our own merchandise for us and give it to us so we can wear it. How's that? That's a solid idea.
I love it.
So that's
we already brought you Mason Lowry as a merch dummy.
Yeah, the Mason Lowry dummy. Yeah, the model, the mannequin known as Mason Lowry.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Right.
We're doing
beauties and benders, and the beauty this week is Parker Wotherspoon.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn until dusk.
Man, Parker got his first NHL goal with an absolute piss missile snipe for a goal against Vasilevsky. I mean, that's a memorable goal for Parker.
It sure was. Great pass from Pasta, and you get the goal for Parker. You got all the P things happening there. So, and his mom was there because she was still there from the mom's trip. So you get a little extra juice there from that. Mm-hmm. Really nice night for him all around. The Bruins get a big win. He contributes. So really nice memory for him, for his mom, for Bruins fans all across the land.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And so we're going to do a bender. And it's going to be
sports. Go fuck yourself.
Sorry, John. It's going to be Eric Cernak. And Eric, after a little battle with Nikita Zadorov, where he got his ass kicked, and they were chirping at each other in the box a little bit, comes out of the box and tries the Jimmy Superfly Snuka flying elbow.
He did.
At Brad Marchand, and missed like the bitch that he is, and went tumbling to the ice. And there you go. So intent to injure was there, but comes up empty.
There's some hatred.
He saw that coming.
There's some hatred there, and as you said, they play a couple of games in close proximity again in March, and that's going to be testy. And if they meet each other in the playoffs, that's going to be testy.
Yeah.
So this could be shaping up for a really good little juicy little thing with the Tampa Bay Lightning the rest of the season.
Tell you what, right now, the Bruins rivalries, it's not really Montreal. It's more the Florida teams.
It's
more the Florida teams, because those are the teams that have knocked you out, or you fought in the playoffs, and so that's really what it is right now. I mean, maybe Toronto a little bit, I suppose, but
the problem with Toronto is that you've had so much success against them that I feel like if one team has more success than the other, then they don't really consider that a rivalry. You have to have some hurt. You have to have some, some struggles, some failure, some reason to be pissed, to be rivals with a team.
Yeah.
And I think that keeps the Maple Leafs a little bit at bay, but Lightning Panthers are definitely the two. And playoffs make the rivalry. So if you don't play this will be the 11th year the Bruins don't play Montreal in the playoffs, in a row. So they
yeah,
have.
I mean that does, it makes it fade. It makes it, you can't develop that real, that real hatred, and if you're not playing them, one night after the next in a tight series.
Yeah. All right. A couple of tidbits before we get to the weekend review. Taylor Hall today said to the media that he was expecting a trade and that he wanted to stay in Chicago, but is not expecting an extension. We've talked about Hall before, but I'm telling you, if it's on the, he's looking for an extension beyond this year. I don't know who's going to really offer him a ton, but would you offer him, say, a 2-year, $8 million deal or whatever? And take them for the rest of this year as well, if you can't actually go out and get like a guy who can really make a difference offensively?
I would. I'm not sure you would know that, though. Like, how would you know that you couldn't go out and get that guy?
Right.
So I would take him on for the rest of this year, because I think he would be better than what they have. Certainly in some spots on the bottom six. And I think he would be, who knows? They have Morgan Geekie on the top line right now. If that's Taylor Hall, maybe that gives Hall a little juice and he's flying around out there, or maybe you play him on the second line with Marchand and Lindholm, instead of Brazeau, and that drops some guys down. So I think I would like that for the rest of this year. I think he would fit in pretty well. After the year, though, I would probably wait for the extension part until you could figure out whether or not you could really go out and get one of these studs, whether it's Rantanen or Marner or whomever you're targeting.
Right. You don't want to hamstring yourself by.
Yeah, you don't want to give him, $4 million of your cap if you need to spend $14 million to get Rantanen. You need every single penny. You can't be spending it on.
Would you rental Hall?
I would.
Yeah.
What
were you going to give up?
Yeah, that's the thing. If the price is right, I would. And look, I still am of the opinion that they're going to be hard pressed to make it into the playoffs. They're playing better, and that's great. But the last couple of games have been, you said fool's gold. Outshot 85 or 84 or 83, whatever it was, to 40-ish. Like, that's not sustainable. So, your points percentage is still worse than a bunch of those teams that are right around you. Other teams around you are starting to play well. Columbus is playing well. They seem like a team of destiny almost, with the Gaudreau stuff, kind of there in the background. And then, a bunch of those guys are playing well. They have some young talent. Marchenko has been unbelievable. So, there's other teams around you that are talented and playing well too. So, every point's going to be tough to come by. So I'm not even really of the opinion that they should be buying. Like, I don't even know if I would do that at all, honestly. But if they're going to do that, then I wouldn't mind Taylor Hall. But I wouldn't do it just because I don't think they should be doing it at all. Anyway.
Right. And then the other thing was Cam Neely actually had some comments on seeing what the organization has in Matt Poitras and Fabian Lysell before looking for external help. He says, are you outscoring your mistakes is really the question at the end of the day. So my question to you is, how many players that they have on the roster currently outscore their mistakes? Like, one?
Maybe
two?
one. Maybe one or two. And that's probably why those guys can get away with it. Right. It's Pastrnak is the one guy, maybe possibly Marchand. But after that, no, there isn't anyone that outscores their mistakes.
So you've got 10 forwards that don't outscore their mistakes, and you're holding your rookie guys responsible for doing that. That's just, to me, that's an asinine comment.
It is. It's a terrible comment.
That's a terrible comment that shows exactly what they feel about their young players.
Yeah, that's why they can't draft and develop anybody, because they won't give them a goddamn chance.
Won't give them a chance, and they won't hold them to the same standard as their veteran guys. And I get this, some of that, like, guys pay their dues. I get that part, but Jesus, there's a lot of guys on the team who, like Charlie Coyle, was hot dog shit for a while.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you give him a little bit of leeway because he's a veteran and what he's capable of doing. But for God's sakes, you bring up a guy like Merkulov or Lysell and give him one, 11-minute game and then say, no, you're not outscoring your mistakes. Like it just turns me off.
It screams to me that Neely is still behaving like the game is in the 80s. And the culture that the Bruins had at that time, which was hard on the rookies. Rookies got to earn it. Zdeno Chara's culture was not that. It was as soon as you were in the dressing room, everyone was welcome. Everyone was equal. Mm-hmm. It sounds like Neely is the problem to me.
Yeah.
The culture that was set by Chara and Bergeron and the guys going forward is more of a modern culture with, everybody's equal when they get in the room. Neely, I feel like, wants to haze these guys. Like he wants to pull their underwear up over their head and whack them with a hockey stick or something. Like, grow up, dude. Yeah. Like everybody on your team fucking makes mistakes and you're going to hold these guys to a different standard. Like that's bullshit. Once they're on the fucking team, they're on the fucking team. Let them play. Maybe they can help you. You're letting Mason Lohrei right now do that thing. Yeah. He's out there minus fucking 14, but
sure.
You're giving him every opportunity. Why is that? Because you need him?
Because you need him.
These guys too, because you can't fucking score.
Yeah, you can't score. Yeah.
So what are we doing here? Like he's part of the damn problem. Like I love the guy as a player, as an executive. He can go to fucking hell. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I just think it's unfair to assume that the rookies have to play perfectly. Like that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like why do they have to play perfectly? They're not going to. So you're never going to have a young player in there unless you absolutely desperately need him. So that's why Lohrei plays, like you said. The rest of them, Poitras gets sent down. Lysell doesn't get any chance at all. Merkulov gets a little bit more chance, but not much at all. He had 30 goals in the AHL. You don't give him any chance at all. And I don't even know where the mistakes are. Like the mistakes feels pretty minute. Like I watched Merkulov and Lysell play that game. Lysell had one play that was less than desirable, but the rest of it, I didn't see any problems at all. Like I feel like they're really nitpicking.
Oh yeah, they are.
It's this one little thing like, yep, yank them. And I'll tell you, you're not going to develop young players that way. You're just not going to develop them that way at all. You're going to kill their confidence and they're going to be toast. So,
or you're going to turn him into a robot who's not creative at all. That doesn't
you're going to turn
create
him
any offense.
You're
gonna have, guy, he's really reliable defensively, but he's not. He can't outscore his mistakes anymore because he's not creative anymore. Because every time he touches the puck, he's afraid of making a mistake, so he just fucking dumps it in like the rest of these clowns. Like Cam, like seriously, bro, get over it. Get over it. It's a different time. It's a different league. You need guys with speed and skill. Get over it.
Do you think that he signed off on Lysell and Poitras as players in the drafts?
No.
Do you think that they were guys that he was 100% behind? I don't either.
Poitras maybe. But Lysell,
no way.
100%. Like that was a consensus in the room, and he was the dissenting voice. Yeah. Like he didn't want Lysell at all.
No, I doubt it.
I'll go to my grave believing that. Like he didn't want him.
No,
and I think that's part of it.
Not big enough.
I would rather have and that's probably why they didn't get to DeBrincat. Instead, they took Trent Frederic, a guy with size. The little guys can't score. That's probably his mentality. You can't do anything as a little guy in this league.
Yeah.
But Cole Caulfield, Johnny Gaudreau, Theo Fleury, like there's guys who
Marchand,
who prove otherwise. Like
you dumbass, he's right in front of you.
So I don't understand it. Like Poitras has to compete. Like even as a rookie, he would go into the corners and win pucks. Like he doesn't have to be the most physical guy, but if he can go in the corner and come out with the goddamn puck, who the fuck cares if he's 5'10", 165 pounds? If he goes into the corner and he's willing to go in there and he comes out with the puck, what's the problem? What's the fucking problem?
I don't know. I mean, here's the other thing. He played with Adam Oates, who was 5'11", 190. He played with, Craig Janney was 6'1", but 190, but not a physical player.
Not at all.
He played with two really gifted passing, playmaking centers, that are cut more like Poitras is than a big, strapping guy like Neely is. I mean, I think there's been a philosophical difference in Sweeney and Neely for a while, like from the beginning. And I think it rears its ugly head at times. And I think it holds them back. I think there's a little tug of war there that not a lot of people talk about that definitely is there. Like, I think they probably agree on a lot of things, but I think that every once in a while, Neely would be like, you got to go get me someone who could put someone through the glass. So that's why Nick Ritchie shows up, Zach Ronaldo shows up, all these different guys. And this year, finally, Neely was like, screw it. We're not going to lose to heavy teams anymore. We're going to get huge. Well, now you can't skate. None of them can score. So I just think they don't have, and we've talked about this a million times, they don't have any, this just doesn't seem to be much of a plan. It seems to be reactionary, their plan.
Yeah, I don't think they have a plan. I don't think they target a specific player type. No. I think it's all over the place because there's two voices there. I think most of the time, up until maybe this year, Sweeney got, what he wanted. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Neely would butt in a few times here and there. But this year in particular, I think, the addition of a guy like Zadorov and some of the other big bodies they brought in, like, I think that is Neely's fingerprints all over it. For sure.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, week ahead for the Bruins, January 18th at Ottawa, 3 p.m. game on a Saturday. That is a big one.
Sure is.
A team that's right there with you. January 20th versus San Jose at home on Martin Luther King Day, also during the day. And then on January 22nd at New Jersey, a very good Devils team. Ottawa has not I think they won a couple, right? One or two lately. I don't know. They dipped for a while there.
Yeah, they did. They have
hurt
and come back a little bit.
Yeah. And then San Jose has been near the bottom of the league, but Macklin Celebrini, as we've talked about, I mean, they could come in on a sleepy Monday afternoon and score a couple of goals and have you on your heels as well. So this is an important stretch here. It'd be nice to get at least the next two and see what you can do in New Jersey.
Senators have won 3 in a row, 2 by shutout.
Yeah. So here you go.
They beat Pittsburgh last Saturday 5-0. Beat a really good Stars team 3-2 at home, and then shut out the Islanders 2-0 on the island. And they have the Capitals on Thursday night, so at home. So that'll be a big one for them.
Okay, so the Bruins are off until Saturday, so they'll be
watching that one.
Yeah, a little bit more rested in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. Please head over to our merch shop and grab some Bruins Benders and Boston hockey merchandise. Subscribe to the Inside the Rink YouTube channel. Join us after every game on YouTube for Bruins Benders post-game live, and let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and give us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify and all the other platforms. We're on all of them as well. And until next week's episode, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.